I was going on a dating grind. I was meant to meet this girl that I'd never met before at this bar. And there was like a pool outside and there's like a grass area with picnic tables. And I was meant to meet her on one of the picnic tables outside, right? I was meant to be meeting her and her friend. One of them was blonde and one of them was brunette. So keep that in mind. So I get there, I get outside. She says she's there. And I go up to one of the picnic tables and there is a blonde girl and a brunette girl sitting there, her and her friend. And so I go up, I say hi, I introduce myself, and I notice the vibe's a little bit weird. I'm like, what's going on? Normally things aren't this awkward. I just got kind of like a vibe they didn't want me to be there. But then I was like, why would you go on a date if you didn't want me to be there? So I sit down, I start talking. I'm like, how was your day going? And then her friend's looking at me like she doesn't want to be there. You know when you're hanging out with someone and they really don't want to hang out with you or they don't want you to be there? So they kind of just like, every time you make eye contact with you, they're like, and they just like look at their friend like awkwardly like that. That's the kind of vibe it was. Her friend was looking at the date that I was supposed to be at as if they didn't want me to be there. And I was like, wow, that's very cunty. Like, come on, give me a chance at least. Just being like an asshole right off the rip. But either way, I asked how their day was going. They're like, oh, good. And it was kind of awkward. I like kind of, the way I sat down next to her, it felt like she didn't want me to sit there. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So things continued to go awkwardly until eventually I was like, okay, what the fuck's going on? So I was like, wait, are you Jasmine? And she's like, no. And I'm like, oh my God, I have gone and sat down at a table with two girls I've never met before, which is a pretty bold move. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And so I got up and I felt like an idiot and I couldn't believe that I just sat at a table with two girls I'd never met before. After that, I went back inside and I was like, what the heck? Where is she? It turns out she was sitting at one of the tables a little bit further away and she was like, that was pretty funny to watch because that wasn't me. She knew that I was sitting at a table with different girls and she luckily didn't take it as like in a bad way. Like I was trying to talk to other girls when I knew she was there. She said she saw me go up to these girls and just didn't stop me because she thought it would be funny. And I was like, fuck's sakes, man. So she made a fool of me right off the rip. I couldn't believe it, man. She let me go ahead. And then I finally sat down and started talking to her. But that's not even the weirdest part of this date. Sat down, started talking to her and her friend. It was going pleasantly. We were getting along well and whatnot. It wasn't awkward. I was like, thank God, by the way, because nothing could be as awkward as it was before. After a good while of chatting, they apparently see her and her friend. This is so awkward to talk about. I see someone sit behind them that looks kind of familiar to me, but I can't put my finger on who it was. And then they went inside to the bar because they were going to go talk to someone that they knew, basically. And so I was like, all right, I'll just wait here while you go do that. And so I looked carefully at the other person I saw that I thought I knew. It turns out the person was somebody I was meant to go on a date with. It was another girl. Holy skibbity Sigma Rizzler over here, by the way. You're talking to the king of women, leader of men, destroyer. Anyway, I'm like, all right, while they're inside and I'm sitting on this table, I don't know what I was thinking. I was a few drinks in, so I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go talk to this other girl. Her name will be Hermione. I go up to Hermione and I'm like, wait, are you Hermione? And she's like, yeah. And she's with her friend and they're very friendly. And so I'm like, all right. And I start having a conversation with her and I explained to her that I'm on a date. I just explained it because otherwise it comes across as weird. And they were like, oh my God, that's so cool, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. Her and her friend were being quite friendly and whatnot. And so anyway, I start talking to them and I say I'm on a date and I'm like, okay, my date's inside right now, but when she comes back, it's going to be weird if she sees me sitting with another girl here. And so I'm like, hey, I'm on a date, my date's inside, and she's going to be weird if she sees me with you outside. Like I've gone and started talking to another girl. She goes inside for 1 second. That's going to look really weird. I say to her, oh, can we just say we're like family or something? If she comes out and asks questions, can we just say like we're family friends or something? The other two girls are like just in a good mood and they're being chill and they're like, yeah, sure. Like, we're your second cousins or something. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening right now? So anyway, we had a few more chats and then all of a sudden, inevitably, my date comes back with her friend. They see me sitting with this other girl and her friend. And like, I turn around and I can kind of see that they've seen that I'm with another girl and they're going to like turn around and like go somewhere else. But then I'm like, oh no, this is Hermione. She's my second cousin. If you find yourself in a situation like me, Sigma Rizzler, then yeah, pull the second cousin card out. Works every time, man. They introduce themselves. I'm like, hi. They're like, hi, like we're Ken's second cousins. And so these girls that I'm meant to go on a date with are introducing themselves as my second cousins to the girls that I am on a date with. And we're all sitting at the same table now. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I've never met any of these people. And there's four fucking girls. And I'm just sitting there. No guys, by the way. Just like to point that out. Everybody seems to think I'm gay. And I don't fucking get it. And so anyway, yeah, I'm just like mediating a conversation here until it all soothes out, and I hope it just works out somehow. Luckily, not too many questions were asked, and it ended with the two new girls, the ones that I went up to, being like, oh, we're gonna go inside and get a drink, and I'm like, thank God. I'm like, that was a weird experience. And then I'm sitting there again with my original date, and so I'm like, what the fuck is happening? What is this date? How did that just happen? How did I weasel my way out of that situation? They go inside, and I'm with my original date and her friend again, and we're talking, we're getting along. After that, my original date, they recognize their friends or something, and they see me, and they all come and just fucking sit at our table. Basically, like, and now this table's got like 8 people at it, and not including the second date girls. And so I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I am at a table with like 12 people, or like so many people I've never met before. This is quite an experience. I end up having some good chats with all of them. We all get along. It's pretty great. Eventually, I start talking to a bunch of people around the table. It's not even a date at this point anymore. Like, I don't even know what it is. I guess it is, but it's like, why do my dates always have to have like a gay person intervene or like some weird shit happen? It's great for YouTube content, but I'm just like, what happened to just like going on a date with one person? I just don't know. Yeah, anyway, then I go inside and get a drink. I see fucking Hermione, and she's like waves to me because she's going, and I'm like, okay, thank God, I guess. Like, I don't know which girl I'm on the date with anymore. I spend the rest of the time with date number 1, and we get along, and it ends on a blissful note. That's all I'll say. She ends up dropping me home as well. Very nice. And I don't really see either of them again. Then I end up seeing another girl that I was meant to go on a date on. While on a date, what are the odds of this shit happening? And she sees her friends, and they all sit at a table with us. And it's kind of awkward because they think I'm like a friend, but I'm on like a first date, and it's great fun. So yeah, that was the weird date thing. I didn't really want to tell that story just because it kind of comes across a weird way. And also it was just like a weird story, and lots of people in my real life involved. And I just don't like it. I don't like it. It's just weird. And so subscribe for more great content. Bye.